and I'm waiting to go live, and I think I am live now. So in the chat, I'm going to say type in where you're from and any questions here. And then an exclamation mark, and then there we go. And we'll see, there it is. So it worked. So anyone who has any comments on YouTube or Facebook, say hello. I'm scrolling quickly through my TikTok, and I'm not seeing anything new that I didn't respond to. But what's super exciting, oh, look, this is interesting. So I wrote text and I sent a message to everybody on YouTube and Facebook at the same time. So feel free to ask any questions. That's part of what this is all about. But part of what's different about a talk show, the talk show that I'm doing, is that I have an agenda. I have some things I want to talk about, some things I want to show you. I have news on the Moldavite front. Some of you might remember the pendulum that I promoted. I sold out of those pendulums, and I was able to get some more. So I have some more Moldavite pendulums. Anyone who wants to reach me, the best way to do it is to email me, Kyle, Kyle, at crystalconcentrics.com. Sarah is online. Hello, and thanks for saying hi. I'm so thrilled that that it's working. Every time I wonder. I'm an Aquarius, by the way, for those who are interested in the whole birthday thing. So I showed you the pendulum. Maybe I should get right into my Moldavite news. So the Moldavite news is very cool. I'm going to try to look mostly at my YouTube and Facebook people, because that recording is going to be saved forever, whereas the TikTok disappears after this event. So I'm not going to be pricing anything specifically on this show, but I will tell you that I've been having a lot of success with I have $12, $16, $18, $22, $28 Moldavites. So I have a lot of Moldavites that are under $100, and I've been having a lot of success with that. Do you pick your crystals? Oh, this is great. I'm getting some nice questions. I have a question. Do your crystals pick you, or do you pick them? It's a little bit of both. I really believe there's a mutual relationship that happens with the crystals, which is part of why I'm so not into the idea of clearing, cleansing, programming, and charging them, because I think of that as a way of going in and overwriting what the crystal has to say. And that feels kind of oppressive to me and a little bit presumptuous. And that's why I like to leave the crystals be. Now, I'm going to keep talking about Moldavite. So one of the things that I have done, which is very cool, is I have met some people who want to buy a bunch of Moldavites. So this is a bunch of Moldavites, and they're buying like 6 of them in one price denomination, and that's kind of cool. And I want to give you a preview of what I have coming up in the department of Moldavite. So I've been selling chips that are under $100, and that's been great. But I have a whole series, a whole new batch of Moldavite that I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you by putting it on my hand. So you see how that little guy is standing right there on my hand, like a little pet, even though I don't think of stones in that way. But this collection of Moldavites is all going to be standing pieces, and I'm going to call it the Stonehenge collection of Moldavite. So you want to keep an ear out and an eye out for when I start promoting that. I'll be making some videos and telling you all about the Stonehenge Moldavite. And I know we have Q&A options here, so I'm quickly scrolling down. I'm seeing another Aquarius, a Taurus. Okay, this is great. So I did not know, Debbie, that you follow astrology. That's kind of cool. But I'm going to move on with my Moldavite stuff. I want to tell you that next in line after the Stonehenge Moldavites is going to be these. and I'm going to call them Skyview moldavites. These are polished, tumbled moldavites that are gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. They've got great color, they're smooth, they're shiny, and they're awesome. And those are not even for sale yet, but when they are, you will be the first to know if you follow me on TikTok, if you get onto my newsletter list by going to crystalconcentrics.com or clicking on my link tree at my TikTok account or Instagram. So that's going to be kind of cool. Some other things I wanted to share with you about moldavite are that I did a video recently where I name my moldavites. I name my moldavites when they're more than $100 worth. And the reason I do that is so that I can tell them apart. And I made a video of a bunch that I have named recently. And one of them is called Emerald Cloud. And you can see, without me even putting a light through it, that this is a naturally light emerald color. So this is called the Emerald Cloud because of that. And then this other one over here is what I call a poison, Poyzin. A lot of people spell it the real way, Poison, but because that sounds like something that could kill you, I prefer to give it a different name. And this, you see, is the color that we're talking about. It's got that sort of glow in the dark neon look that's really outrageous. Also, it's got a very glassy surface, as you can see when I shine the light on it. So this is one of the examples of the special moldavites that I gave names, and this one I called Leaning Mountain. Now, I'm seeing there's been a bunch of questions that have come through, and I'm going to scroll up in, I do still have moldavite pendulums, and you said I never got an email back. I am usually good, like within an hour or two, emailing someone back. So if you never heard back from me, that's because your email got lost in the mix somehow. And I want you to please, please email me again, Kyle@crystalconcentrics.com, because I'm super, super responsive. And there's no way I would ever ignore anybody, especially when it comes to looking at and talking about crystals. So I hope you got that message. And do I have any natural watermelon tourmaline? I sure do. I don't have any to show you right now. How do I organize my personal crystal collection? That's one thing I love about TikTok, folks, and I want to see it on Facebook and I want to see it on YouTube, is that the questions are awesome on TikTok. So organizing crystals. Right now I have a desk here, and in my desk I have some of my favorite crystals so that I can talk about them when I do lives. And I'm doing lives every 4 or 5 days on TikTok. This is a sugilite that's particularly tasty, and this is a rhodochrosite that's tasty. So if it's not in my desk, it's going to be in my night table drawer. And then I'm debating setting up some shelves so that I can have some crystals with me all the time. And be able to just draw for them like you would a library. In fact, speaking of libraries, I want to tell everybody, and I want to remind you, I am going to go back and answer all the TikTok questions, but because I have a bit more of an agenda in the Crystal Talk Show, I'm going to try to stick with the agenda so that I cover it, and then I'll come back to all your questions, even though this is a live Q&A also. So I talked about moldavite. I mentioned that I do have the pendulum still new. I got new pendulums. And then I want to show you actually some super sick Bessednisi moldavite. So this is the spiky hedgehog stuff. Debbie asked, what kind of stone would I pair with moldavite in a grid? So that's sort of TikTok style. It depends always when you're gridding or combining stones, what it is that you're trying to do. Whether you're trying to create more elevation, you use more elevation stones. If you're trying to ground in any way, you bring in some grounding stones. So that's a bit of a longer question than I can totally answer intelligently here. I want to show you this great big Bessidnisi right here, which is one of my favorites, and I'm going to show you what happens when I put the light through it. See that? That is what they talk about as being the highest level of Moldavite madness. So I've really become a specialist in Moldavite, and if it's something that interests you, you'll want to email me, Kyle@crystalconcentrics.com. I apologize to whoever I didn't get back to. That was a fluke. Now, I'm going to actually shift into another question that people have for me, and that is, I'm going to show you a couple of stones that are very cool. So this here is a Larimar. It's Larimar in its natural matrix stone. So it's not as super fabulous as it is when you cut it and polish it. And I just did a video. I have like 40 drafts waiting to go up on TikTok. And one of them is about Larimar. So I want to show you Larimar is a super tasty stone from the Dominican Republic. And they also call it dolphin stone. And I consider it a sort of watery version of turquoise, because turquoise is very dry, and Larimar is very wet. So for me, Larimar is kind of like the way that animals or fish or mammals communicate underwater. It's a communication kind of stone, but it's also a healing kind of stone. So I like Larimar a lot. I wanted to talk about it during this event. I will take breaks, and then I will answer questions. I see a question come in from Helen about, is there a crystal other than sapphire for me? I did a video about crystals and astrology in which I explained that I really, really don't feel the associations that have been made between crystals and the astrological signs, the zodiac, etc. I think they're arbitrary, and I think there's no particular logic to them. And so my next book, because I am writing a book, I've actually finished the book, and this is a mock-up of it. It's black and white here, but it's going to be in beautiful color, and it's going to be fully out in April. So if you're interested in that, definitely email me, Kyle@crystalconcentrics.com, and I will keep you updated through my newsletter about how to get the book and when it's coming out, because we're going to have a digital version first, and then some people are going to be, in fact, Sarah, who's online now, is going to be one of our early readers who's going to check it out and who's going to put reviews up on Amazon. It's called Crystal Energy, and it's happening in April. So keep an eye out for my book. It's very exciting that that's happening. Another stone I wanted to talk about tonight was Libyan desert glass. So I'm going to bring that close to one screen and close to the other screen. And Libyan desert glass is like Moldavite in the sense that it is a tektite. It's a tektite that is a meteoric impact that hit the desert instead of the forest, as it did in Czech Republic 15 million years ago when Moldavite was formed. So in a sense, these two are the same types of stones, or tektites is the more proper name for them. And they are formed from meteoric impact, and they produce a kind of glassy material that is fused earth and space ingredients. Now, Libyan desert glass is very much treasured and appreciated by a lot of people, and I have taken one and made it into an amazing wrapped pendant. Now, I don't make these myself, but I have an exclusive guy I work with who does amazing work and has been able to make Libyan desert glass pendants. And actually, he also did this Larimar pendant. And I've been getting a lot of interest in citrine also. So by the way, TikTok people, I'm going to switch over to only you once my main talk show is done. But if you have questions that I'm not answering in real time now, I want you to feel free to email me, Kyle@crystalconcentrics.com, or make comments on any one of my videos. and that way I'll be able to respond, because most of my TikTok live experiences are strictly me and the audience, and I'm back and forth with questions, which I love to do. In fact, let's see what they've got to say to us. I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to see if there's any new questions. Yep, people love the Moldavite. And I do have that. Okay, so nothing new there. Now, I want to talk also about hearts. We just passed Valentine's Day, and I wanted to turn you on to some very interesting hearts. And I don't know if this is not going to work at all, because digital cameras hate white objects. White objects bleach the heck out, and you see none of the detail. But this is a scolecite heart, and you see this distinctive wrap style that it's in. This here is a Girasol quartz, which is gorgeous and kind of foggy, so you can't really see through it as well as you might. But it's pretty sweet stuff. That's from Madagascar, and I bought it like 5 years ago because they haven't been producing as good stuff as they used to. And then I wanted to talk about lavender chalcedony. This is what it looks like, and this is from Turkey. It's very popular, and you can see how the same color stone can be played in silver over here or in gold over there. It's good stuff and is particularly healing. So I really love this stuff. And so what I'm really trying to convey to you in this part of the presentation is that we love hearts, and we set hearts, and we sell hearts, and these are the types that we can do. All of this is the custom wire work of my guy that has made so many pendants for me, including this pretty green fluorite. Very tasty stuff. So I'm not pricing or trying to sell any of this stuff live on the air right now. That's not really my style. I mostly focus on educational content. If you watch my videos, you'll know that. I love teaching people, and then if they enjoy what they're learning, or they're impressed by the quality of the types of stones that I'm representing, they email me, kyle@crystalconcentrics.com, and then we start a conversation, because I have a lot of stuff on my website, but it's a tiny percentage of everything that I really own and that I'm selling right now. So I recommend that if you check my website, that's cool, because I do have the capacity to upload more stuff. But know that emailing me is the best way to get to see the real deal of what's available. So, somebody just, okay, Lexi Moon, thank you. We are going to be friends. You will see. I wear a green and purple fluorite bracelet nearly every day. Well, that's good for you, because fluorite is super breakable. So I'm always happy when people's fluorites do not break. Lavender chalcedony is a healing stone. It's super awesome. I can't recommend it enough. In fact, I'm going to show you. This is my Energy Zones poster. So I have grouped all crystals according to 10 energy zones that roughly follow the chakras, the 7 main chakras that people have heard about here in the West. And I've added a few additional energy zones. I call them energy zones instead of chakras. And we've got foundation here. What I did was I did the opposite order in the poster. Instead of having foundation at the bottom, I have foundation at the top and channel at the bottom. So I group all crystals according to this 10 energy zone system. So you'll find that whenever I'm talking about crystals, I'll want to group them in this way so that you can understand where they fit. So for example, the lavender chalcedony that I was talking about, I put that into the healing energy zone because it is a naturally realigning stone. So I hope that answers your question. You can get this poster from my website or contact me and I can tell you about it. I'm going to quick see if there's nothing else new there. Hello from the UK. I love this. What am I wearing? This is a chocolate moonstone that's actually kind of lavender It's super sweet and bright and awesome. And I was just in the mood to wear it today, which worked. Can Tiger Eye go in water and salt? I don't ever recommend people bringing salt around their crystals at all. I joked and told somebody that I learned my lesson about salt from looking at the bottom of my car in the winter. It rusts out because salt is so corrosive. So I don't recommend that. Most things you can wash in water and it's no big deal. Do I have any knowledge on volcanic rocks? Yes, thank you about the necklace. It is gorgeous. Volcanic rocks, not particularly. I mean, I mostly have ever dealt with lava. Lava is cool stuff. It's very igneous. It's very explosive. And for me, it's the tektites like moldavite and Libyan desert glass that I deal with mostly. But I also like the black tektites, and I like Apache Tier obsidian because that's definitely volcanic and it's thrown up. And I have realized that Apache Tier obsidian is connected to sort of volcanic transformation in your life. So I really like Apache Tier obsidian. It's cool stuff. So next question I'm going to answer, or next thing I want to show you. Actually, I'm going to take a little break and show you my cards. So this is my 10 energy zone card deck. And you see all of the energy zones are represented. And I have a bunch of crystals in each of these energy zones represented. So for example, this one shows fossils and the energy zone is foundation. Foundation is below the root and has to do with our history and ancestry and the things that have led up to the present. Do I believe in ghosts? Yes, I do believe in ghosts. Could you tell me about black tourmaline? Yes, black tourmaline is awesome. It's the cheapest and most accessible of the tourmalines, and it's super useful because I consider it all about lines and boundaries and limits. And I got an email from somebody who said, hey, I'm going to give you $50, say. I'm just making up an amount. I'm going to give you $50 and I want you to hook me up with some crystals that help me with 3 areas that I'm having trouble with. One is anxiety, the other is motivation, and the third is focus. And so I wanted to take the opportunity of doing this talk show to tell you some crystals that I think would be very handy in all 3 of those areas. So I believe that it's really important when you're working with crystals, or if you're working with a client who needs help, that relaxation is the first and most important thing that you can give to them. And I'm going to use a heavy duty example of what I would use, which is a piece of nephrite jade. It's always super relaxing, but there are cheaper alternatives to nephrite jade that are very cool. And they are this, which is often sold as jade. It's called healerite or olive serpentine, and it is very sweet stuff. I also recommend this, which is green chert. Very cheap, not that commonly available, but if you can get it, it's not expensive and it's nice and relaxing, just like a jade would be. And then the third thing I wanted to show you was a new jade. So new jade looks similar to jade. It definitely feels energetically similar to jade, and it's super, super cheap, but it's a serpentine. It's not an actual jade. So hello, everybody. Thanks for everybody joining. Ooh, look, how cool is that? Goose Given is here. Love it. Fluorite seems to be breaking inside. You know, fluorites will break. That just happens. Is auralite rare? I'm glad that you asked about auralite because I actually have some auralite I want to show you because people have been contacting me and they're super excited about it. So for those of you who don't know, this is what auralite looks like. It's layer upon layer of amethyst clusters that have formed on top of each other. And if you're lucky, you get a red cap tip. the actual top of the cluster is red. And for me, this is a foundation stone having to do with all that ancestry stuff, but it's also very high and elevated because it's got this nice dark amethyst. And for me, amethyst is a vision stone having to do with your spirit's mission. Okay, so this is an unusual way to find auralite. The more common way to find it is to find it just in a sort of a crystal like this. I'm going to deny this call. So this over here is an example of an auralite that's just the rough piece, and it looks kind of like a point in itself or like a wand. And I like this a lot too. I have a tumbled piece, which is unusual. And this is also unusual. This is auralite that was sent to India to be cut in the shape of a massage wand as an kind of an obelisk. And this is very hard to find. So I only have 2 of these, which is kind of awesome. But it so happens that in India, they actually have their own type of auralite. Looks exactly the same as the Canadian auralite, except it often features red areas like this, which have a lot of iron in them, which is why they turned red. But instead of the cap being red, some of the insides are red. And who knows, maybe one of the earlier points in the growth, in the layering of amethyst clusters, was a red cap. So that's kind of cool. Not to be confused with red cap amethyst, which comes from Brazil, which is also called Super 7. It's another variety of the Super 7. There are basically 2 pretty different types of Super 7. One that has lots of inclusions in it and is expensive and you get it small. And the other is a red cap amethyst, which is also called a Super 7 and then can be big, like the auralite that I showed you. It can be big like this or even bigger. That's exciting stuff. I'm going to quick slide through, see if there's any new questions coming from TikTok. Are there any crystals that I don't own? Because I buy and sell crystals, I tend to have just about everything, but it's rare that I have any green tourmaline. That I don't have Jeremejevite, some funny name like that. There's some obscure crystals that I don't carry because they're too obscure for me to even care about. The energy of the crystals can depend on its size. Oh, thank you. I love doing these lives, and I'm glad it's working for the people on TikTok because you're used to getting my 100% attention, and now my attention is split because I've got people talking to me from YouTube and Facebook also on this other screen down here. In fact, I have a question. MG loves obsidians. That's a good thing. And I have incredible nephrite jade. That is very true. I actually had a nephrite jade ring that I was wearing all the time, but I managed to break it because I was exercising and I cracked it. It was stupid. Oh, from the UK. Yes, Helen Spencer. Thank you for watching. And I know it's late in the UK. I love it when people from Europe tune in because they're so dedicated to the vibes that they're willing to not be asleep in order to enjoy the live. So thank you for that. For those who are just now coming in, I want to tell you I did talk about Moldavite. I've been selling small chunks of it rather successfully, and I have a new line that's going to come up called the Stonehenge Moldavites, which are going to be standing pieces like this, which is very, very cool. And then I'm also going to have these outrageously cool polished Moldavites that look like this. So they're going to be small, but they're incredibly pretty. I have a few big ones that I'm going to turn into pendants, and I specialize in pendants, even though I don't have a lot of them on my website right now. I have a storefront, so anyone who comes to my store can see everything if they want. And anyone who emails me gets to see everything that they want too. For example, I had a couple of super viral Sugilite videos, and Sugilite is one of my favorites. I was showing you a piece of it right here. Very rich, beautiful stuff. And I was showing everybody pendants. And so somebody emailed me and I showed them photographs, and they ended up buying a nice Sugilite pendant just about an hour ago. So that is kind of great. In fact, this is the one that sold. Check it out. Look at this piece. So here it is. It's got purple bands, and then it also has hematite bands, which is a very rare and awesome combination to get the grounding of the hematite and also the sort of elevated manifestation stone vibes from the sugilite. So this one has sold. It's going out in the mail tomorrow. And while I'm holding sugilites, I want to show you a variety of sugilite that features richterite. Richterite is this blue stuff, and it's super awesome. I love this piece so much. I'm tempted to keep it, but I might sell it to somebody. You'll notice it also has this dark red in it, and the dark red is called boostamite. And I'm getting comments here. I feel like auralite and moldavite have skyrocketed in popularity. I feel that way too. There's been a lot of interest. But you know what else has skyrocketed in popularity? Citrine. People love a real citrine, and I blew up actually originally on TikTok by doing videos about the difference between real and fake citrine. And so I'm going to show you some real citrine here. This, for example, is a gorgeous citrine that we've had put into a pendant. And I usually use gold wire when I make pendants for citrine, but in this case, I used silver because I think sometimes people just love silver, and the citrine was also dark enough that I thought it was complemented by having the silver color in the wire wrap. Notice how cool the tip is. Very good stuff. So yeah, so we're talking about the citrine, and people wear it and they love it. Yes. Now I'm going to show you a trick stone here, which is the same as this trick stone. This is what most people are selling as citrine. It is, of course, heat treated amethyst, but I had it turned into a pendant, and it's super awesome. Actually, the color is incredibly pretty. It's a really, really, really nice piece. And then this is also heat treated amethyst that looks like the natural color of citrine. And I made these both independents because even though I'm honest and I tell people, hey, this is heat treated amethyst, people still appreciate it and they like it. And I think it's beautiful enough that someone will enjoy having it in their life. And I want to show you another treated quartz that is called Ouro Preto citrine. Oh, no, not Ouro Preto. That's black gold. Ouro Verde means green gold. And you see, it's quite beautiful stuff. It's faceted really, really well. It's wrapped really nicely in Brazil. And I know that somebody's going to want some of this too. Oh, you had a disappearing moldavite. Somebody asked me about that earlier today. They said, what do I do to stop my stones from disappearing? And I said, well, you could be a lot more careful and keep track of them, put them in a box or whatnot. But sometimes they just plain disappear, and sometimes they do it just because they feel like it, maybe to spite you. But I've been very lucky that most of the crystals of mine that disappear end up showing up again at some point in the future. So keep the faith. It might reappear. Unfortunately, if they're so small, I get afraid they're going to get vacuumed up or they're going to go in the laundry and somehow disappear. I actually had a moldavite pendant that went through the laundry once, and it survived actually quite nicely. Yeah, so it happened to my friend. She found it later on. There's someone from TikTok saying that. Have I ever worked with thulite? I have not worked with thulite. I just sold my only piece that I ever had of it. It was a really nice display piece. And I didn't get enough vibes from it to say, oh my gosh, I have to work with this. This is like a must work with stone. But it is kind of cool stuff anyhow. I don't know much about Indian agate. I've been asked about it. Oh, right. I refused to vacuum because of it. I bought wire to make a necklace and I couldn't find it. That's right. Don't vacuum till you find that thing. Joint pain for doggos. That I don't know. Actually, amber I think is really great for pain and inflammation in general. Can I talk about rutilated quartz? I love rutilated quartz. I consider it a self stone about positive personal pride. So I like rutilated quartz a lot. In fact, this talk show is getting really enlivened by the questions that you're peppering in here. And I hope I'm able to cover all my agenda. I think I have. I talked about Larimar. I talked about Libyan desert glass for those who weren't here earlier. I'm going to show you the Larimar pendant that I showed off. Very cool stuff. I talked about that I have the Moldavite pendulum back in stock, this one, but I also have a capsule one, which is way cheaper, and I recommend you be in touch with me about that. I have little Besednisi Moldavites, and I have big ones. This one is so big, I'm actually not planning on selling it, but I think I might make it available, and then if the price is right, I might part with it. So that's what's happening with Moldavite. I talked about that I got a special order from someone. They said, I want help with stress, and I want help with focus, and I want help with motivation. And I talked to you about these before. I talked to you about the nephrite jade. I talked to you about the cheap substitutes, green chert, olive serpentine, and also new jade. And now I'm going to talk to you a little bit about focus. I think focus is really enhanced by clear quartz, and it's best if you get really good quality clear quartz that's so clear that the bottom looks like broken glass. But often the quality is so great on these that when you rub your hand on it, you don't cut yourself the way you would on a piece of glass. Another way of doing clear quartz is to get a nice geometric shape like this. That's kind of cool. And a third way, which is super easy if you can get it clear enough, is to get a tumbled piece of clear quartz like this. So all of those are options. By the way, if anyone wants to reach me at any time, all you have to do is email me, kyle@crystalconcentrics.com. So everybody's up to talk about shungite. I love shungite. I don't have any here with me now, but I believe that shungite really is the filtering stone that people brag about, and that it's good for keeping out negative energies. I think it might be petrified petroleum, interestingly enough. It has a very high content of carbon, and carbon, after all, generally originates from dead plant matter, which oil does, and coal also. Here's something that I haven't talked about that I wanted to talk about, and that is this. This is angelite. Angelite is very cool stuff. It's a sweet baby blue. It comes from Peru, and this is what it looks like naturally. This has been a little bit polished. You can see the angelite there. Very nice, relaxing stone. I have a great video. Someone asked about crystals for finance, and I have a great video on YouTube where I talk about prosperity and abundance in the context of crystals. What I want to show you next is an anhydrite wing. So this is angelite also, but it is a wing of it. It's a fan crystal, which comes from Mexico, which is quite unusual. Malachite. Sarah Beardsley suggests malachite for joint pain. And black kyanite. I love black kyanite. I just sold a piece today. It's shaped in a fan like this, and I use it to sort of sweep away blockages and illness and disease. It's really cool stuff to use that way. Yeah, that angel was pretty amazing. So I want to show you a couple more real citrine pendants. So this one is like a generator, like you would get like that, except it's been drilled and then had wire put through it. And then this one I've learned is called in the trade, the new age name is Kundalini citrine. It comes from Africa and it has a main point and then all these smaller points behind it. I also call it geyser quartz. And so just to show you that I've got lots and lots of different types of citrine pendants. So next thing, no new questions on Facebook or YouTube, and I'm scrolling quick through. Somebody shared the live video. Thank you for that. Clairaudience. So clairaudience means it enables you to hear sounds. I think that the astral stone apophyllite is super, super recommended. So I definitely suggest that you look into apophyllite. Facebook and YouTube, I'm going to be turning off soon and continuing on with TikTok. So if you have any other questions, please ask me now, because I'm going to be signing off shortly. I did want to show you also, this is a gorgeous Sugilite boulder pendant. So here was just plain a rock of Sugilite that was drilled, and then we put a bale on it so that people could wear it as a pendant. Very cool stuff. So that covers my agenda. I do want to make sure to remind you that I have a book coming out in April, and that you can sign on to my mailing list at crystalconcentrics.com or find my link tree. Send me an email, kyle@crystalconcentrics.com. I sell moldavites for under $100. I sell moldavites for over $100. And then I also sell super duper moldavites that are extra valuable, like this. I have Libyan desert glass. I've got Larimar, and I've got hearts. I have lots of hearts made into pendants, like this gorgeous fluorite here. And oh, I wanted to finish. Remember, I was talking earlier about that woman who contracted me to get some stones to help her with anxiety and stress and focus. And I talked to you about the jade and the jade substitutes. I talked to you about the focus through clear quartz and motivation. I recommend dark petrified wood, particularly red petrified wood. And then also something called dragon quartz. Dragon quartz is awesome stuff, and I can't recommend it enough. It's kind of gone extinct. You can't really find it anymore. It came from Morocco, and they dug it all up and sold it all. So there isn't really any left. Only people like me who have been in the business for 30 years and tend to stockpile stuff will have some of this obscure stuff that came and went over the years when it was trendy. I got asked, I'm located in the Boston area. So we're just north of Boston, and I have a shop in a town called Arlington, and you're welcome to visit there. We're open every single day of the year except the big holidays. I got another question from Lynn about what's the best way to drill holes in gemstones. So holes in gemstones is something you best leave to a professional to do. And I have a few people that I talk to who are capable of doing that type of drilling. Hello, thank you for your gift. Somebody gave me a gift. I love it. I'm scrolling down. Somebody shared the live video. Thank you for doing that. So I'm going to get ready and sign off from Facebook and YouTube. Unless you're having fun and you want to stay on, let me know. I'll be curious if we're complete. I don't know. I think I can record for longer. I'm using the Be Live functionality to broadcast to Facebook and to YouTube. But since those are being recorded, anybody can refer back to them at any time. So I think I'm going to say goodbye to Facebook and YouTube. Good night. Thank you for watching. Helen Spencer, I think you were the one in UK. And I'd love to hear from you all. Join my mailing list at crystalconcentrics.com or email me, Kyle@crystalconcentrics.com. And TikTok, I'm going to come back to you, so don't go anywhere. So bye-bye, everybody on YouTube. And